This is a flying machine, and not only can it be used to go across the end void, it can also be used to make your farms hella efficient. But before I can show you how to make one and add attachment to it to make it more unique, I'm gonna show you how each of these work, and then I'm gonna show you how they work together to make a flying machine. Now there's three main components for the flying machine. There's pistons, sticky blocks, and power blocks. First one I'm going to talk about are pistons. So we got two different pistons. We got a regular piston and a sticky piston. And the only difference between these two is that a sticky piston can both push and pull, while a regular piston can only push but not pull. Relatable, but when you're building a machine you want to keep together, it's not as good. It can still be used, but just not as well as a sticky piston. Especially when there's a limit to how many blocks can be pushed, because pushing an infinite amount of blocks would just break the game. So pistons can only push 12 blocks. This is 12 blocks, and it could push it. But if you add another block, it can't push it anymore. This makes it 13 blocks it can't push. And another neat thing about pistons is that they're powered by quasi connectivity. So something like this works. It's 2 blocks away, but it still works. And this will affect how you use your power supply, because even though there's a block missing, this still works. The next components are sticky blocks, slime and honey. Pistons can only move the blocks in front of them, so something like this won't work. But if you replace it with honey or slime, it connects with everything else. So now you can move things up to the side or wherever. And even though they may seem the same, these are actually two different blocks. They actually work with redstone differently, which will affect how you use your power supply. So something like slime, they're considered solid blocks, so they can actually transmit power, whereas honey can't. Right, they also don't stick to each other, so these two will go together, but this one is left behind because it doesn't stick to the honey. Which is nice to have two sticky blocks that don't connect to each other. And there are other blocks that don't interact with the honey as well, which will be used to stop the machine, which is nice. Now to power the machines, we have two different power supplies. We have an observer, which is more common and it's more newer, so you're gonna see that you're probably gonna use this a lot more than the redstone, which is a bit more old school and it's not as useful. Now because of the quasi connectivity of the pistons, these blocks do interact with the pistons differently. Now the only difference is that observers automatically update the pistons, so it goes off instantly, but with redstone blocks, it doesn't update it until you place a block next to it. Now as the name suggests, observers observe things, right? So when you place a block in front of them, they see that and they update it. This includes components going off. This also includes itself being moved. So now that you know how all three components work, here's how they work together. Right, so we're gonna start off by building an obsidian pillar, because this is how we're gonna stop the machine. And then we can start off with the observer, which should be facing, or not facing, the backside should be facing the piston. And this could be any direction, so something like this will work, and even something like this. Any directions, as long as it's pointing towards the pistons. And we gotta make sure the machine stays together, so everything should be connected to sticky blocks. So I'm gonna place the observer in the opposite direction with the pistons in the opposite direction. Now keep your mind on which direction you want. And Bedrock Edition, one of these have to be a regular piston. If you activate this first, it will move that direction because this piston is pushing while this is pulling. But if you want to move that direction, this piston is pushing while this is pulling. So whatever direction you want to go, make sure the piston is going that way on Bedrock Edition. Both could be sticky pistons like on Java. So you may have noticed I didn't use a redstone block. Now I'm not going to show you how to make a flying machine out of them, but I am going to show you how they can be used in a flying machine. Now this is a different design of a flying machine, but it's pretty much the same concept. You have the servers facing the pistons and then the sticky blocks keeping everything together. Right, this is known as a extension. Earlier I said we have a 12 block limit. This is clearly more than 12. This is probably like 20 blocks. So I built a straight line of slime pointing into a piston. This piston is actually being powered by this redstone block. Not right now, but when this machine starts, this piston is going to be right here. And as you can see, it gets powered. So all I have to do is power this. So it didn't work because this is longer than 12 blocks. So make sure you can at least count. So now if I start this up, you can see that this piston is pushing this contraption, this extension over here. If you want a better understanding of pistons, watch this video.